Welcome back to Cars Review. Honda's next Ridgeline might just blow up everything you thought you knew about America's most unconventional pickup truck, and what's reportedly happening behind the scenes could change the entire midsize truck game. For nearly 2 decades, the Ridgeline has been the odd one out. It's not built like a traditional body-on-frame truck. Instead, it uses a unibody platform shared with a Pilot and Passport, giving it car-like handling that traditional pickup buyers either love or can't wrap their heads around. Now, according to multiple reports, that formula could be getting its biggest shakeup yet. Here's what we know so far. Automotive News reportedly broke the story that Honda plans to pause Ridgeline production later this year, with the pause expected to last around 18 months. If those figures hold up, Honda would restart production at its Lincoln, Alabama plant sometime in the third quarter of 2028. That's a long gap, and according to reports, it's not happening by accident. The reason, if the reporting is accurate, comes down to emissions regulations. Sources say Honda needs this pause to redesign key components and bring the Ridgeline in line with updated regulatory standards. And according to outlets covering the story, that includes an all-new V6 engine. Now here's where it gets interesting for truck fans. Reports suggest Honda may introduce its new hybrid V6 powertrain into the Ridgeline lineup, the same hybrid system, reportedly planned for the Pilot, Passport, and Odyssey, starting in 2027. If that holds true, the next Ridgeline could be the most fuel-efficient version of this truck Honda has ever built, without sacrificing the towing and payload numbers loyal owners expect. But don't expect a complete ground-up reinvention. According to industry reporting, this is shaping up to be a significant refresh rather than an entirely new platform. A true next-generation Ridgeline, built on a fresh architecture, reportedly isn't expected until sometime in the early 2030s. Still, for a truck that's remained largely the same since 2017, even a major refresh is a big deal. And it comes at a time when the Ridgeline has reportedly seen slowing sales, making this refresh feel less like an option and more like a necessity for Honda. So what will the new Ridgeline actually look like? And when might we really see it hit dealer lots? Let's get into the design, because if early reports and renderings are any indication, the next Ridgeline could look noticeably different from the truck currently sitting on Honda dealer lots. According to several outlets covering leaked details and independent renderings, the updated Ridgeline is expected to borrow styling cues from Honda's newer midsize lineup, specifically the Pilot and Passport. That means a possible new front fascia, with reports pointing toward updated LED headlights, a reworked grille, and a bumper design that leans more rugged than the current model's smoother, more car-like face. Now, it's worth being clear here, none of this comes from an official Honda reveal. Much of what's circulating comes from digital artists and rendering channels who've taken the reported design direction and visualized what it might look like. One popular version, created by a virtual automotive design channel, shows the Ridgeline wearing a front end nearly identical to the redesigned Pilot, while swapping the current truck's tall, vertical taillights for a more horizontal arrangement out back. If those renderings are even in the ballpark of what Honda is planning, the next Ridgeline could finally shed some of its softer, crossover-like appearance and lean into a tougher, more traditional truck look, something that's been a common criticism from buyers who cross-shop it against the Ford Ranger or Chevy Colorado. As for the platform underneath, reports suggest Honda will stick with the same unibody architecture the Ridgeline currently shares with the Pilot and Passport. That's not necessarily a bad thing. This platform is part of what gives the Ridgeline its car-like ride quality and predictable handling, something body-on-frame trucks generally can't match. That said, some reports speculate Honda could reinforce the structure to improve rigidity and safety, though nothing official has confirmed exactly how far those changes will go. There's also talk about the truck's overall footprint. Some early speculation floated the idea that the next-generation Ridgeline could grow in size, though that claim has since been walked back by more recent reporting, which now points toward this being a refresh rather than a larger redesign. So take that one with caution. It's one of the more inconsistent details across different reports. What does seem consistent, though, is the direction. A tougher, more modern face, updated rear styling, and a truck that visually aligns more with the rest of Honda's rugged-leaning lineup. Including the trail sport trims, Honda has been expanding across its light truck models. So the design is shaping up, but what about power, towing, and pricing? Now let's talk about what's reportedly happening under the hood, because this might be the most significant change to the Ridgeline in its entire history. According to multiple automotive outlets, Honda is developing a new hybrid V6 powertrain for its larger North American vehicles, and this system is reportedly slated to debut first on the Pilot and Passport starting in 2027. Several reports now point to the refreshed Ridgeline as a strong candidate to receive this same hybrid setup when it returns to production. If that turns out to be accurate, it would mark a major shift for the Ridgeline. Since the current generation launched back in 2017, the truck has stuck with a standard gas-powered V6. A hybrid version, according to reports, could bring noticeably improved fuel economy while still delivering the power output truck buyers expect, though Honda hasn't released any official specs. So exact horsepower and torque numbers remain unconfirmed at this point. It's also worth remembering why this update is reportedly happening in the first place. Sources covering the story say the driving factor here isn't just competition, it's regulatory. Honda reportedly needs an updated engine to meet stricter emissions standards, and the hybrid V6 could be the solution that checks both boxes: compliance and improved efficiency. As for towing and payload, nothing concrete has been reported yet. For context, the current Ridgeline's roots go back to Honda's very first generation model, which launched with a 3.5-liter V6, producing 255 horsepower and a towing capacity of 5,000 pounds. Since then, updates have pushed those numbers higher, but if the new hybrid system prioritizes efficiency, some analysts speculate towing capacity could either hold steady or see only modest gains, though again, that's speculation, not confirmed information. On pricing, we do have a real data point to work with. The current 2026 Honda Ridgeline Sport starts at $42,290, including destination charge. Given inflation, added hybrid technology, and Honda's pattern of pricing increases across recent model updates, it's reasonable to expect the refreshed Ridgeline could carry a higher starting price, though Honda has not released any official pricing for the updated model. One more thing worth noting: reports indicate this refreshed Ridgeline will likely be badged as a later model year than you might expect. Some outlets suggest it could arrive wearing 2029 model year badging once it hits dealers, even though the redesign work is happening now, in this 2027 to 2028 window. So we've got styling, power, and pricing covered, but when can you actually expect to see this truck in person, and does Honda even have plans to keep building it long term? Let's close things out with the timeline, because this is where things get a little more complicated than a simple release date. According to reports, Honda plans to pause Ridgeline production in the fourth quarter of this year. That pause is expected to last around 18 months, with production reportedly restarting at Honda's Lincoln, Alabama plant in the third quarter of 2028. If that schedule holds, we likely won't see the redesigned truck debut publicly until sometime in mid-2027 at the earliest, and some reports suggest Honda could even wait until early 2028 to officially unveil it. It's worth pointing out that this story hasn't been entirely consistent across every outlet. Earlier reporting from Automotive News reportedly suggested Honda might sunset the Ridgeline entirely by 2026, fueling speculation that the unibody pickup could disappear from Honda's lineup altogether. More recent reports have walked that back, now pointing toward a confirmed pause and refresh rather than a full discontinuation. So if you've seen conflicting headlines about the Ridgeline's future, that's why the story has evolved as more sources have weighed in. What does seem to be holding steady across reporting is Honda's own messaging. Honda officials have reportedly cited preparation for the new model as the reason behind the production pause, and the company has acknowledged the Ridgeline's 2-decade run in the American truck market, emphasizing the features and capabilities recreational truck buyers have used most. So here's where that leaves us. If those reports are accurate, this isn't the end of the Ridgeline, it's a pause, followed by a refresh that reportedly brings updated styling closer to the Pilot and Passport, a new hybrid V6 option, and changes aimed at meeting emissions regulations. What it's not, according to current reporting, is a ground-up, next-generation redesign. That bigger overhaul, if it happens, reportedly isn't expected until sometime in the early 2030s. For now, Honda hasn't confirmed official specs, pricing, or an exact reveal date. So everything we've covered today should be treated as reporting and speculation until Honda makes it official. That's the full picture of where things reportedly stand with the next Honda Ridgeline. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you're subscribed to Cars Review, because we'll be tracking every update on this story as new information comes out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.